Good evening, friends. Myself, Dr. Nidhi Darbari, in My Education Treasure. In my previous video in explanation skill of micro teaching, I had discussed about the meaning and precautions, desirable and undesirable teacher behavior, and components of explanation skill of micro teaching. Today, in my present video, I am going to discuss about the observation schedule, evaluation sheet, and micro plan of explanation skill of micro teaching. First of all, we will discuss about the observation schedule of explanation skill in micro teaching. In the pattern of observation schedule, first of all, you have to write the name of the student teacher. After that, class, date, subject, topic, period, duration has to be written. Lastly, you have to write the name of the supervisor. After you have written the above preliminaries, you have to write the instructions. The first instruction you have to grade the performance and indicate it by encircling the letter. The legend for the observation schedule is A means 95% to 100% correct use of component. B means 85 to 94% correct use of the component. C means 75 to 84% correct use of the component. D means 65 to 74% correct use of the component. And E means below 65% correct use of the component. After this, the observation schedule will be divided into 5 columns. In the first column, the serial number will be written. In the second column, the components of explanation skill in micro teaching will be written. The components of explanation skill in micro teaching are introductory statement, explaining links, concluding statement, questions to test students' understanding, questions followed by correct responses, no irrelevant statement, no lacking continuity, covering essential points, use of visual techniques, and vague vocabulary and phrases. After this, the next column frequencies will be written, which will be further divided into 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. After that, in the fourth column, grading will be done. That is A, B, C, D or E. After the observation schedule for explanation skill in micro teaching, the next is the evaluation sheet. On the basis of evaluation sheet, a decision is taken regarding the teaching and reteaching. In this, a 7-point scale is prepared bearing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 for recording which component of the skill have been used frequently. Marking 0 means that the component of the skill was completely absent in the process of teaching. Marking 1, 2, 3, 4 means that the component is normal in the skill of teaching. Similarly, 5, 6, 7 depicts the maximum presence of the respective component in the process of teaching. In the pattern of the evaluation sheet in explanation skill, first of all, the name of the student teacher will be written. After that, class, subject, topic, period and duration will be written. Lastly, the name of the supervisor will have to be mentioned. After the preliminaries have been mentioned, the evaluation sheet will be divided into 5 columns. In the first column, the serial number will be written. In the second column, the components of explanation skill in micro teaching will be written. The components of explanation skill of micro teaching are introductory statement, explaining links, concluding statement, questions to test students' understanding, questions followed by correct responses, no irrelevant statement, no lacking in continuity, covering essential points, use of visual techniques, and vague vocabulary and phrases. The next three columns will consist of frequencies indicating minimum, normal, and maximum. One or two frequencies will be minimum, 3, 4, 5 will be normal, and 6 and 7 will be marked as maximum. Now we will come to micro lesson plan of explanation skill of micro teaching. First of all, we will write the name of the student teacher. The class will be written. After that, date will be written. After the date, subject, that is social studies. Topic, that is earthquake, to be taught has to be written. After subject and topic, period and duration will be written. In the end, the name of the supervisor will be mentioned. The pupil teacher will enter the class and wish the students good morning. The students will also wish him good morning. Then the teacher will ask the students, how are you all? The students will answer that they are fine. Thank you. The teacher will ask the question, have you heard about devastation caused in Uttarakhand? The student will answer, yes sir. Thousands of people died and lakhs became homeless. The teacher will then ask, what happened there? The student will answer, an earthquake occurred. The teacher will ask, what is an earthquake? The student will answer, an earthquake is the sudden and violent shaking of Earth's surface. The component used is beginning statement. The teacher will ask the question, what happened in earthquake? There is no response from the students. Then the teacher will explain that in earthquake, rocks break or slip along fault line in the earth crust, releasing energy that causes the ground to move. Student will listen attentively. The component used is explaining links. Then the teacher will ask the questions, what are the causes of earthquake? There will be no response from the students. The component used is explaining links. Then the teacher will explain that there are two main causes of earthquake. It greater heat and pressure inside the earth and movement of water vapor due to high temperature and pressure. The students will listen attentively. The component used is no vague vocabulary and phrases. The teacher will now explain that the location below the Earth's surface where the earthquake starts is called the hypocenter. The location directly above it on the surface of the Earth is called the epicenter. The students will listen attentively. The component used in this is use of visual techniques. The teacher will ask the question, what more do you know about earthquake? The students will answer that the earthquake cannot be predicted with accuracy. The component used is no irrelevant statement. The teacher will again say that earthquake may trigger other hazards, for example, flooding, landslides, fires, and avalanches. The students will listen attentively. The component used is explaining links. Then the teacher will say that by enforcing building codes ensuring that all buildings comply with seismic requirements, communities may be protected against earthquakes. There is no response from the students. The component used is explaining links and no irrelevant statement. The teacher will then say that by ensuring schools, hospitals, electricity, energy, municipal water, wastewater, and transport are not located in areas at risk. The student will listen attentively. The component used is explaining links. The teacher will ask the question that what is the difference between foreshock and aftershock. The students will answer that foreshocks are earthquakes which precede larger earthquake. Aftershocks are smaller earthquakes which occur in the same area following a main shock. The component used is covering essential points. The teacher will then explain that the earthquakes are recorded by instruments called seismographs. The students will listen attentively. The component used is concluding statement. The teacher will state that the recording they make is called seismograph and then ask the question, what are the causes of earthquake? The student will answer the greater heat and pressure inside the earth and movement of water vapor due to high temperature and pressure. The component used is testing understanding. If you found the video to be informative and interesting, I request you all to please give a like to my video to motivate me, share it with others and subscribe it so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get a notification. The teacher will now reinforce by very good and say that today we discussed about earthquake and ask the students whether they understood and give the homework to read the lesson. Thank you very much for patiently watching the video and don't forget to subscribe.